Isha, thank you for making time. And since we are blessed by the lords of Instagram and our internet connections, let's hope. I'm in Delhi, so it must be the haze. Some good is coming out of it.
The Lord.
So are you in Delhi, or are you in a, as we say, a better place?
No, I'm in a better. When you say it like that, it sounds like condolences.
It's very R.I.P.
No, I'm in Delhi. I'm in Delhi. Yeah. As we speak, I'm giving up on my dream of retiring early to Goa, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I've been told to give that up as well, because clearly I'm not going to survive the haze. But, coincidentally, and we're live with Isha Singh Sawhney, the world famous brains and beauty and hands behind, what are they called? Scooby of Brew Kombucha, and who is trying to educate us all on how kombucha is better than beer, I guess.
It's not a trade-off.
Okay, with that honesty, both of us are getting nowhere.
It's not. I think, but anyway, you continue before I start my...
No, I mean, you have to actually start, because I wanted to start with not so much as the product to begin with, but the process. There is no kombucha without a process. Mm-hmm. And there is no kombucha reaching people without a business plan as well. And you've been a writer, I mean, you are a writer, but you've been a journalist and a writer and an author in making, I'm told. So what is this transition, if there is one, or do you have 4 hands and many heads and 48 hours a day?
I wish. I have a little Devi console in front of me, which has a lot of other random stuff also on it. But yeah, the 4 hands and is a wish. It's a wish. It's no, gosh, I wish there were many more hours. But at the same time, actually, they're just the right amount of hours. But lots of things there to understand.
Why the transition, if it is a transition?
I didn't.
Or is it not a transition? Is everything going on at the same time?
So I was writing for a long time. I was a journalist for 13 years. And I mean, this is a spiel that I have sort of said before, but at the risk of repeating myself, I kind of stepped away thinking that I wanted to do like slower kind of writing, which didn't involve active reportage. And I was trying to work, AKA my fiction. I had a novel. I went to like this beautiful writing workshop in Vermont, and I was like, oh my God, that's all I want to do. I want to live writing workshops.
And it was so different from your reporting days.
Seriously. I was like, all I want to do is slow down, listen here, and like look at the shooting stars and like listen and have craft lectures in the afternoon. And
the dream.
Seriously. And I haven't let go of that dream though. It's still there somewhere.
No, we live in hope, eternal hope.
And it was really cool. That was my workshop leader. A lot of hope for me writing at that point.
And kombucha and all were not in your head at that point. You were aiming to become a writer, an author.
I was a writer, and kombucha. So to all of this, anywho, I came back to Delhi. I was like, I'm going to work on my fiction and blah blah blah. And side by side, like essentially the parallel thing to this is that I grew up sort of trained to do almost everything, to make almost everything at home. That's like just how my sister were brought up by our mom. Everything was like, the hopes to avoid like processed food, the hopes in the
hopes. So if you can make it, you don't need to buy it.
Yeah, which is like also kind of trying to beat capitalism, and it feels very critical now when I like talk about this and I'm like, buy my kombucha, but also, which I'm like, make it at home. If you can make it at home, make it at home, right? Like I feel like that's so empowering. Yeah, but I was also like messing around with a lot of things just because I could, and like someone had told my mom that you can make these things. Like it's sometimes you're stuck mostly just by yourself, right? Where you're like, but how could I approach this thing of...
I think as Indians, it's a bit inherent for us as well. We're makers of things.
100%.
We're makers of things we consume.
100%. that we're losing. We've lost again capitalism, consumerism.
Yeah.
You know, advent liberalization, like, which is so amazing. At the same time, it's like kind of handicapped us. We've forgotten how to do so many things. I mean, and the further we get away from that, the more kind of problematic. And
yeah.
But yeah, we grew up in a way where it was like we were always messing around trying to make face washes and like balms and making your own concoction of body oil with essential oil in it, and then messing around in the kitchen. Preserves and pickles and jams and everything was like sort of made from scratch.
Yeah.
My uncle basically 7 years ago brought me this beautiful little SCOBY from Boston in this like tiny Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
And I started making kombucha, and like it was just one of those things where one day you have one jar and then like 1 year later you have like 15 jars and people are like, okay, you can give it to people to drink because it proliferates. It essentially
the SCOBY grows.
Yeah, essentially it was much more I suppose successful in its journey than my fiction writing at that point. But I'm still it's very scary. The writing is really scary to me at this point. And I was just listening to our Anne Lamont's podcast, and her book Bird on Bird is one of my like favorite guide for writing kind of things. And she was on this 2-hour long podcast with Tim Ferriss. And she was like, it's such a crazy thing. She calls it the frame method. And it's for writing, but it's for life, where you just go from like one frame. Just look at that frame, what's happening here. And that's how you write. You just picture that scene and just do it. And
like a storyboard. Yeah.
That's it. And you don't have to think about like the entire piece. You don't have to think about the entire.
Don't overthink. Absolutely.
You just open your computer or your book or whatever, your typewriter, and just write. And I think that I'm so.
It's not true for entrepreneurship, is it? You have to have a plan and then a plan B and a plan C.
No. Are you saying that is true or that's not true?
I'm asking you, is it true?
Okay, and then like the entrepreneurship part that I seem to be doing with some sort of plan A, plan B, plan C is also is also me just putting the other. Like the kombucha suddenly became kombucha, and then there was it in bottles with proper labels, and then it was a business, and then it was a website, and then I was in a bunch of stores. Suddenly one day
that can't be that you didn't realize and it turned into this, because yes, you had a lot of product, you gave it to friends and family, and there has to be some transition.
My problem.
They started forcing you to take money. Like, please give it properly.
My problem is that I'm an idea person, not a strategy person. So, which is what I'm changing, and that's something that I'm trying to work on, which is to get excited about ideas, but also strategize and have plans A, B, and
to balance it out. Yeah.
So like, even though the kombucha is something that I've been doing since like 2017, 2018, we put in the market, like there was nobody else doing it. COVID happened and then everyone became a home, this, that, and the other. The brands came up and there's a lot of noise in the market now. Which is kind of
only Bangalore, I remember there were some whispers of something called kombucha before that, around that time. 16, 17. And no one else in the rest of United States of India knew anything about it.
100%. I had started around the same time as these other two brands in Delhi, and there was one brand in Bombay, and people were like, what is this vinegar thing that you're making me try? And like, ye vinegar ke kaise kyun hai? And you're like, no, the process of kombucha makes things acidic and blah, blah, blah. And but now,
or why is it not fizzy enough? I even heard that in Bangalore. Why is it not fizzy enough?
I get
that. It's not soda.
I am. And are you a kombucha drinker? Let me step.
I love kombucha, but it's so hard to find good quality, and everything is so high sugar.
I know.
So one has to be rationalize it, and I think it's shifa in your hands that you can brew it, because I do have dreams, but I'm still not confident that people offer SCOBYs and things, and I said, "Arey bhaiya, I don't know."
See, that's the thing. Well, the intention is there, but actually it's not that easy. So when people are like, wanting to do a kombucha brewing workshop, I'm like, fermentation is really energy based, right? So like, if you can want to do it, but if you're not sort of actually invested in the process, and I think that's the beauty of it also. If you're not, it feels you.
That's true, right? You have to believe in your
Oh my
SCOBY
God.
and keep it happy and keep it well fed.
100%.
It's like a pet. It's like a person.
and
because
that's
you can taste. I think if something is made badly or not with, I mean, love is, not with passion, the consumer can taste it. Or is it just me? I don't know.
I mean, maybe you're a little more discerning than most consumers.
But it does. I feel it does matter, because that's the difference between commercial production and artisanal foods and drinks.
Yeah.
Small batch productions, and the person, I can feel that the person's put in effort. Are they happy, or are they disappointed if it's too acidic or if it's too, maybe it's bitter,
Yeah.
So you can tell, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of, again, with kombucha, there's a lot of choice that people have because the product category is getting sort of known and people are getting familiar with it. But one also needs to understand what is fermentation, what is kombucha, how is it made, how is it meant to be made, what are the different types of processes, and also, like you said, read the label and see the sugar content and understand where the sugar is coming from, right? And like so much of this, do you know, and are you listening to your body? Again, I say this on rote, but like, are you listening to your body when you drunk something? So if like something has too much sugar in it, since I'm not used to consuming white sugar,
exactly.
Has fructose mainly. The sweet comes from the apple, the cinnamon, the apricot, right? So like the sugar that's added as part of the fermentation is eaten up in that 2.5 weeks, and everything you get at the end, that sweet, is from the fruit or the spice. And that's what, I don't know, like, again, not to like say anything about anyone else doing anything, but like, are we being...
But there's less information on the product because India is not, our cuisine is very familiar with fermentation.
Yeah.
We have regional fermented dishes which are used for healing, for nourishment. But every state almost has a fermented dish, 100%. Including liquid fermentation from rice water, mostly.
But we've lost track of all of that. Like, we've forgotten.
Yeah.
People have conversations with me where they ask me, is kanji Indian kombucha? And I'm like, no, kanji is kanji. Kombucha is kombucha. Ragi balls are fermented ragi balls. Like, why would you compare? We have such a rich history across part of our country, which is like, focused on like how do you, and what is fermentation at the end of the day, right? Like, even that, the simple thing of knowing it's a form of preservation that we had as human beings for the advent of refrigeration. And that's like the best way to sort of like understand why we even need something like this. And in the process, certain aspects of the foods get enhanced and they change their sort of their form and their characteristics to become to give you other nutrients, right? Like more nutrients, other nutrients. But yeah, we're busy. That's the problem. We're too freaking busy. That's why.
But which is where entrepreneurs like you step in and also benefit from, because we also want something easy. I want to pick it up off a shelf. I don't have maybe the talent or the time or the patience to do it. So with that, I'd like to come back to the entrepreneur journey a little bit. And you had an all-woman team, or
we do. We do.
Yeah.
We not only have.
Why did you decide on that, and where is your team from?
Totally. Yesterday, I literally spent the whole day feeling slightly. I was in a man-hating mood because we've just like sorry, men. And then I realized at some point where
we love you, men.
We love you.
We don't hate you.
But you're all already annoying. Not the men. The men choose to hang out with their fine. Other ones that don't stay in our lives, I'm like, oh. We didn't choose to have an team. I have been doing this with the people that have come and gone, and we have some very cool boys who work for us remote, like they're consultants. But our core team is this lady Nisha, who's my ops lady. It's such a small team, and these two ladies, Ellen and Poonam, who are these amazing, strong Jharkhandi ladies who I wanted to like give the opportunity to take ownership of something more than just domestic.
So are they the brewmasters? Are they your brewmasters?
Yes, like with me overseeing them, they're the ones who know. They know instinctively. This is again where fermentation, right? Yes, there are brews, there are tests, and there's bricks tests, and there's pH, but they know instinctively because they're in touch with the forest. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to like romanticize, but they know what.
That is the boo in your room, the boomy.
Yeah.
They're in touch with the earth.
Yeah.
So we learn from them. So it's totally, it's very valid.
And I never went out there. Like, it's nice to kind of give women an opportunity, but every time a man has like joined us, I literally have like 4 days of my ops head and think
of your life cut short.
How men are useless. She's like, I don't want to work with men. I'm like, okay. We're looking for women runners now, because she's like, why can't?
Cool.
Yeah, we want like women delivery.
That is to deliver. You mean to deliver within the city and.
Yeah.
Great. That's a call. That's a call to action that you've just given out on the citizens. So anyone, if you know someone who'd like to be a runner, please get in touch. So it's great to offer fruitful employment, and the perk is kombucha drinking all the time. And as ad hoc HR, I get a bottle per hire.
Headhunter. That's the role that.
Yeah. Talent acquisition, I'm told it's called. But it has to be hard. I know you're so joyous when you talk about your business, but there has to be, in building the business, there has to be a learning curve, some frustration, some heartache. Would you like to share a reality check?
The part where I'm literally in tears like once a day, every day. Yes, that's very much a part of my day also. It's frustrating.
Which is what is the big challenge that you face?
Okay, so I was saying that the first few years, including 2 years of COVID, I now look back and I consider those to be years of R&D. Me coming from having done like English literature, no business people in my family, no one to like look at and be like, dhanda aise chalta hai, you know, dhanda is almost a bad word in our damn family. Like academics, whatever, like everyone thinks they're an intellectual and a writer, and you know, they're like dhanda, and I'm like, no, I have to like reprogram business 2 years of now I call myself a dhande wali with great pride. I'm like, yes, I'm a dhande wali.
You've cracked the code.
I mean, it takes therapy.
But COVID was a learning curve, or was it you had to take 5 steps backwards?
I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest. So like when I'm still selling kombucha, for like the first 2-3 years, I was operating out of the basement, like the spare kind of space in my house, right? So like COVID happened, it didn't hit us quite, and have rent. We had a even more skeleton team, and it was very much me like figuring out what to do. And I really consider the last year to be the actual, like, now we need to look at our numbers, project, strategize, you know, plan where we want to be able
to survive.
Yeah, to be able to have a successful business. You know, you're not just running something because you like to do it. Like, yes, it gives me joy.
So even a passion project needed a plan.
100%. And you know, and me learning about a business. How do you run a business? Like, I asked friends of mine who like management courses, and they're like, nothing is going to teach you what you're doing from, you're not going to learn that from a school. You're learning that from running a business. There is no other like experience that matches up to that. And they're right. Like, and for me, I really wanted to understand how to build a website, how to look at my data, how to collect my data, and it took me a long time to like wrap my head around all of those things of like, I'm a product person.
So you only learn by doing it. No one can teach you. No one can do it for you.
Learning how to use, I never had Excel on my computer. And now I only have Excel on my computer. Like, I only had like Word. I would make like tables and make like, suddenly someone was like, and sorry to again make this very gendered, but like my dad would be like, Excel. And I was like, I hate that shit. I'm never going to use it.
I'm a writer.
I'm a writer. I don't use Excel. And now,
but did you see a parallel between your journalism as well? No one can really teach you reporting in that sense or editing in that sense. You just have to do it.
You have to do it. But it's with anything, right? It's like with workouts.
But for you realize the parallels because you've lived that life.
Yeah.
And
you just have
it came full circle for you as an entrepreneur.
That's it. And you're learning every day, and you're frustrated every day, and every day actually coming back to something you said earlier. Every day is literally me just putting one step in front of the other. Have some idea of the picture, but if you get too stuck on a bigger picture, you're gonna be hampered in, like, you gotta be slightly flexible. Like, what is it? Flow like water. You know. And you have to have that flexibility with what life will throw at you, and life throws unexpected punches, and learning, like, you have to learn through everything. And
so apart from COVID, what were those? What were, like, if you could remember the top two, maybe, these unexpected punches that, you know, almost blew the air out of you?
No, I want to say that today my lessons are: don't run away from the numbers, and don't run away that make you uncomfortable. And that's like, oh, actually, no, I'm going to say don't run away from numbers, and, like, ask and look for support wherever you can. Like, that's been, like, I'm so grateful for everyone that I've had that has been able to share. And then, actually, can I have three? Because my third one is trust your instinct and your gut, because you're going to have, like, hundreds of conversations when you ask for help, and then you have to deal all of that. And then, you know, you got to understand, okay, numbers, people's opinions, instinct, then that's my plan.
Yeah, so this has helped you.
Yeah.
It has made a difference, I mean, you know, from what it was before.
100%. And, you know, being
do women entrepreneurs find it harder to ask for help, or we can do it all? Or is that a generalization?
I think that there's a certain type of person that finds it hard to ask for help. And maybe, you know what, men find it harder to ask for help. Don't they hate asking for directions also? Like,
for sure. I was going to say directions, yes, but
no, I don't even, I know when you say women entrepreneurs, it sounds like I'm a bit like, oh, that is what I am. But, like, I really do see myself as a creator more than an entrepreneur. Like, I see that I'm creating.
Sure, that's wonderful.
And a big part of, like, also learning how to function in this world and this ecosystem versus being a freelance journalist where you are your only ecosystem, and, you know, you have nobody but, like, one editor, one person that you're in touch with.
Different challenges.
100% different and very isolating. But this is also very a single founder.
How is that?
Super isolating. I'm constantly looking for a co-founder, but at my age, everyone has, like, their own career trajectories, and nobody seems to want to call for.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's an interesting challenge.
Yeah. And then people who have, like, co-founders look at me and they're like, but you have nobody to argue with. And I'm like, there are pros and cons to everything. I get it.
But you are looking for a co-founder or a co-business partner.
Yeah. I mean, I am.
They should be. That's a work idea right there. No, you can have a contest, and it's like Tinder for work. Looking for business partners.
I have these mixers now. As I joined, like, entrepreneur networks, so I can join them. I looked at them from afar. I realized they have very interesting mixers that happen for, like, and they're, like, you can get onto and find co-founders and CEOs and, like, cool people doing cool shit. And, you know, it's interesting. The entrepreneur, I have to call myself an entrepreneur, but the startup consumer good scene in India is so interesting post COVID, and so many people have actually been able to build brands.
How is that? I was going to ask you, how has things changed now that COVID is technically endemic now? I mean, it's never over, but things are changing. So how has it changed for you and for the entrepreneur world, as it were?
Yeah, it's really cool to see what people are doing. It's really cool to walk into a store, like, say, for example, I live in Defcol, so, like, the Nature Soul store over here, that's, like, my and it's really cool to see Arjun, who runs it, who's been there also for, like, many years, people creating stuff, and stores creating spaces for that stuff, right? Where I can soap, toothbrush, really good oil, a mix of oils, granola, energy bars, kadha, and I know that good brands, right? Like, it's so nice to see that these are good brands. People are putting in a lot of effort, thought, love into these.
And kombucha. Now the brands of kombucha, there are many more.
100%. And kombucha, fermented thing. It's opening out, like, it's really cool. It's cool to see all of this happen post-COVID. And again, there's a lot of crap out there also. Like I think we mentioned before, learn how to read your labels, do a little bit of research, see what people are saying. There are a lot of brands are also, anyway, this is a different rant for a different time, but like the whole artisanal craft, slow.
No, but it is an important one. How do we tell them apart? How do I know I'm getting, it's not a cheap product.
100%.
So if, how do we get what we need at an affordable price?
Yeah,
like value for money, at least. It's a very expensive product for most of us. It's an indulgence, right?
100%. And you're only actually catering to the 0.001%. I totally see there's a highly elite aspect to living this life, to choosing this kind of lifestyle. And that's the irony, right? We should be doing all of these things anyway in our homes. That's what we've moved away from. And I don't have the answer to that. My biggest goal, like literally people keep talking about scale, but my biggest goal is I want to scale while keeping the integrity of my product intact and making it a cheaper product for people to drink, because it's not feasible for me to tell someone whose monthly income is not above a certain amount to drink kombucha on the reg, so and that's unfair. And again, like I think that's a problem with a lot of products.
No, which is where the craft product comes in, because they'll offer it at a lower price, but obviously it'll be cut with, I don't know, glucose syrup. If you,
I have no solution to that other than walk in, sadly shake my head, and I'm like, damn it, why are you selling this for? And people say to me all the time, and I'm like, what can I say other than understand your body, know your body, listen to how you're feeling, check your parameters. If you feel like your gut is responding psychosomatically to drinking a cheaper product, which may or may not be just water with bubbles, then good for you, right? But like, understand perhaps what the difference is between the two brands. But yeah, otherwise, other than that, I don't
How does one tell apart? How does one tell it apart? A good kombucha versus a not so good one, let's say, or something that's not really good for you in the long run?
Most kombucha should, or anything fermented, because of the process of fermentation, should have that like acidic undertone to it. And that's the fact that tells you whether it's fermented or not, right? We don't want it overpowering, so that's over fermented. We want it to be just, And your palate should know. It has to be just right for you. Yeah. And then, like
kombucha
you said,
cannot be standardized, no? I mean, it's an organic product. It's a living product. Can it be standardized?
You can pasteurize it, which makes it shelf stable. Nature identical flavors, which standardizes flavors. We don't, because we like to use fresh ingredients. These are all options that we've chosen not to at this point, because we want to, again, keep like the product as raw as possible. But yeah, there are brands that are pasteurizing it, that are using nature identical artificial flavor.
That doesn't take away from its values, like its nutritional values?
I think it does, but like I said, for each person, like they're choosing a certain product for a certain reason, and it's, who am I to say that you're choosing also the wrong product? Like, I don't want to be that person that's like, that's a shit product, why are you putting
pick what works for you? I mean,
maybe that works for your bank balance, maybe that works for your taste buds, and I think that's also the great part. There are a variety of tastes for us to, like, cater to and pander to. So I fit into a certain category and someone else fits into a different category, and that's fine. And I don't want from a space of like, disciplining, policing, gatekeeping, so that's why I'm like, as long as okay, the other the part of this is kombucha is a fully new category in the market. So to standardize it, it's just been recognized as a proprietary food by FSSAI. So first we have sort of that level where brands are going to have to apply for the right license. Then you're going to have, that go into like, you need to ensure certain, like even within this space, there's a lot of opaqueness of information, like what
should your safety. Do you need to have food safety standards?
Yeah. Like, what should the people?
You can't get sick by having What is the kombucha version of moonshine?
Yeah, no, you're completely right. And like if you're not fermenting, so low pH levels, right? What is that acidic flavor? It's a low pH level, which comes through the process of fermentation. And that's something that I'm not expecting everyone to have a pH meter in, but it's the same thing. Like when you have lemon, that's the same sort of acidic component in your diet that's helping your body kind of get more alkaline, right? Otherwise, we're constantly putting like something like junk food or coffee or alcohol is making our fatty foods are making our bodies more acidic, right? So why do we start our day with like a lemon water, whatever? It's for that. But I don't expect. I guess what I'm saying is read about it, understand what the it's supposed to do to you. I'm not expecting you to have a pH meter in your house, but educate yourself on why you should be consuming.
But what is your tip as someone who knows the product? What percentage of sugar is a safe cutoff maximum? You know,
sugar is also an interesting thing, by the way. Like the whole kind of conversation around low sugar, no sugar with Coke Zero. There's a lot of like, you know, like a lot of people pushing low sugar or no sugar, but there's
here in your product, it's the natural sugars. So when you're looking at kombucha, if someone is looking at bottle 1 and bottle 2, what is a safe figure to consume?
So the thing with our kombucha also is that if you pick a flavor with apple in it, or you pick a flavor with pineapple in it, the sugar levels are going to be higher because that's natural sugar. So I was sort of coming to that. Reading labels become like so much more like the different types.
And which are the lower sugar?
We have a chili lime that's like super sour and spicy, which is amazing. Our coffee vanilla bean also has a very low sugar content. The rhododendron, which is not a sweet flavor when you drink, kind of a stringent.
Yeah, it's sour. Yeah.
But the flour is quite sweet, and we use like this amazing flour that comes from this brand called SOS Organic that's in Himachal. Yeah. And that rhododendron, because of there is a certain level of fructose in the flour that gives it a higher sugar level. So our kombucha ranges between 5 to 15, depending on what's
the percentage
fruit of what's the fruit in 400 ml. It's like 5. I want to say I forgot the unit metric of it, but yeah.
Another thing I wanted to ask a kombucha entrepreneur was, why are they packaged like that, like in little cough syrup bottle thingies?
Especially ours.
What's the trick?
I get this question so much. People are like, "Arey, the other kombucha brands are in clear bottles. You know, itna acha lagta hai jab color dekh sakte hain ye wo." And I'm like, "Bhai, now what do I explain?" Okay, so amber, we chose
that
amber.
It needs a darker glass. Yeah.
We chose the amber. The utility part of it is we chose amber to prevent light pollution. Like it's prevent the light from changing the form, which is why medicines are also in amber, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But we chose the specific medicinal looking bottle because I'm like kind of obsessed with apothecary, like vintage apothecary sort of thing. So that's why. But trust me, most people, when I take out the kombucha into public, people are like, "Ye dawai ka bottle kya hai? Ye kyun le ja rahe ho?" Isme dawai.
Exhibitions, etc. If you go, like at that Bikaner House, Sunday markets, etc.
Yeah.
You get interesting feedback.
When I take the bottle out to like Sundar Nursery and I'm drinking it like sitting on the park somewhere, and then like one sweet
are you unwell, you poor thing?
One sweet lady will come up, "Ye kya hai?" Achha, because I'll also be doing something stupid like taking photos of it, like, and they'll be like, "Dawai hai ye? Aise pite hain? Karte hain?" Then I have to like be like, "Oh, pata hai fermentation," and then you go into like जो सड़ रहा है उसको रोकते हैं, control करते हैं, जैसे दही बनाते हैं.
Oh my God.
It's the process of rotting, right? What is fermentation? It's the process of controlled rot, literally. So when I start saying that in Hindi, I sound like a crazy human being.
So you get some interesting expressions right there live.
But I want to say, our kombucha tastes amazing. So sorry, I have to plug something about it. Tastes amazing. So the minute I'm like, try karna, and they're like, "Oh, interesting." You know, there's always this like.
Oh, you do that? Huh? So one can bump into you in Sundar Nursery or Lodi Garden, and if they catch you swigging, you're happy to share. Oh, that's a good one. Good tip. Listeners, that's your tip.
if I can, they call it. Oh,
So now Delhi listeners will keep an eye out for you.
This is another term I learned from my entrepreneur friends and advisors. It's called share of throat.
Oh, repeat that slowly and tell us what it is.
Nothing. It's really simple. It's share of throat. How do you get more share of more throats? Sorry, I say that.
It's literal.
But it's like, why do brands do sampling? Why does a brand stand in the lobby of a mall and make more drink it? Because your consumer acquisition, but the technical term for beverage, the beverage is share of throat.
Do you do a lot of, what is your marketing strategy? It's season now, like all the melas will start, the food fairs will start. So what is your plan of action next?
Saying no to all melas and all.
Seriously? And staying online on your beautiful Instagram page?
No. So we, after having done a lot of makeup, kombucha is not a staple. It's not something people are coming out to like buy with their, I mean, let's be real. People are not going to buy eggs, milk, and kombucha yet.
And kombucha. Yeah.
It's very difficult for me. Stalls are really expensive. It's very difficult for me to kind of make back that kind of money, which stalls they charge, especially during season time. Stalls can go up to like 30,000 rupees, and we won't sell more than like 6 grand. It's not our zone. What we really love doing is like going to music festivals and popping up at like a fashion week, or like
that also is coming up. Season for everything.
Yeah. So
we
just did fashion week. We had our little kombucha on tap at the bar.
Oh, nice.
Cocktails at the bar, and we had kombucha on tap at my favorite shoe brand, the Birkenstock. They didn't allow us to put our brand name, but I'm not talking about it, so who cares? But we do like,
and at music festivals as well.
We do this big music festival in Al-Seether every year called Magnetic Fields. So that's something that we do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's coming up, right?
Yeah. So we do that sort of every. Yeah. And that I'm not a big like Mela farmers market vibe. That's like I learned. This is again where my non-entrepreneur. I actually sometimes get a bit tired of like interacting with people, like in spaces where people don't get it. Like so then I'm like, okay, no. I'll just conserve my energies and like be smart.
So what is your plan of action for the coming year? This year is almost drawing to a close, believe it or not. What is your plan of action for the brand and for the product itself?
My plan of action is to like do the most boring thing. Get our license. We've just applied again for the license. It's like paperwork and running around. Probably moving from our current space. So that's happening. And then I have a lot of really fun products that I want to bring out, but I need to like temper my excitement, and I need to be like, no, calm down.
I was going to ask you for a sneak peek. Tell us 2. Okay, tell us 2. Only 2.
Oh, so we have a really fun thing that was supposed to come out in the summer, but because I'm a bit like hectic about the design, we didn't launch. We're doing kombucha popsicles with a brand called Cold Love, and they're
fun.
So that's one thing that's almost out. And
are you going to teach people how to make it? How to brew your own kombucha?
You know what I really like doing actually, and that's where like when people say do an event or a pop-up, it's like how to drink kombucha, how do you consume kombucha, and we like to do sort of more curate the event more around like we work with the chef Charu, chef Charu, who's amazing, where she's cooked with kombucha. She's made reductions and sauces, vinegars, and consumes. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Consomme, yeah.
Yeah, I was like somewhere it's there, and then we do like kombucha cocktails, or we do like kombucha mocktails. And
so, what are your top 3 ways how to drink kombucha? We'll part on that very happy, bubbly note, literally that fun. But top 3 ways to consume kombucha.
Okay,
how do you drink it?
Turmeric ginger in the morning when you wake up, because are amazing, and kombucha are amazing. Like everything detoxifiers. I would say like the Revive or vanilla. So like the coffee bean or vanilla in a yummy cacao banana smoothie in the afternoon to like satiate, say, like mid-evening hunger. And then our chili and lime with your choice of spirit in the evening.
I was going to ask you, but kombucha is such a sanskari drink.
Please. Some of the sanskari. Today I wore a sari on some day, and I walked in somewhere in my sari and my sneakers, and they were like, "Oh, how sanskari you're looking." And I was like, you know what? I'm just like gonna take back this word and make it my own. Like, screw you.
Exactly.
But
on that very sanskari note, and yeah, I mean, cheers to you and cheers to your business.
Thank you.
And I hope you come back in some time and tell us about those new magical products.
Yes, and
more.
Whoever's following us on Instagram can keep track of the things that we're doing and the things that we're trying not to get too excited about all the time.
No, absolutely. And I hope that job call you just gave, I hope it bears fruit and you get lots and lots of bright, intelligent, energetic women to join your team and take you strength to strength.
It was so nice to speak to you.
Thanks so much. So nice to speak to you. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Bye.